Hello and welcome to DB Overland, and welcome to part 2 of fixing up my 1994 Toyota pickup named Bandit. In the previous video, I first tackled my biggest hurdle, which was changing out the rod bearings. Once I finished that up, I gave the engine a quick valve adjustment, fired it up, and it purrs like a kitten. Now, in this video, we need to finish the list of things that I have to do on Bandit, which is repair the rear ARB locker, and also we need to tighten up the front wheel bearings and go over the steering.
Well, we'll let this idle for a while, warm up really well. And then I think the next big project that we need to tackle is the rear locker. I think that is our next big project. Now, I'll show you why we're going to tackle it. So, with my onboard air system, it's not an electric compressor. What I'm using is actually the factory AC pump. So my truck never had AC from the factory, and so I added a AC pump that would have been on this engine if the truck had AC, and I use that as my air compressor, and it works quick. It's really impressive. And then I've got it running back to a manifold just right here, and in that manifold I have a pressure switch. So at 110 psi it shuts off, and then I think at like what is it, 90 psi it clicks back on. And on that manifold, and I'll show you guys, I'll climb in there and show you guys. On that manifold, I have it teeing off to my air chucks on both sides. And then my air locker is also connected to that manifold. And then also, I have a tank. I have a scuba tank in here that's on a quick disconnect. So then that way, if I need to air up somebody's tires, I can fill the system up, disconnect the tank, run over, and air up somebody else's tires with that scuba tank. So it's not a bad system. And here, I'll kind of show you. Oh, I got a lot of stuff in the way. There you go. Oh, see, now the system's completely full. So there you go. And actually, so let me show you the air locker, what's happening now. So if there you go. Is it working? So what was happening is it was blowing. Yeah. So the air is leaking inside of the axle, and there for a while you could hear it actually, but for some reason right now it's not. You got to be kidding me. There it is. Oh, now it just sealed back up. So it leaked. So I disengaged it. There it is. So it was okay, now it quit. All right, here, I'll do it again. Did you guys kind of hear that? It's sealing up right now. That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So anyways, let's pull the differential apart and let's find out why the differential's leaking, because there was quite a few times that I would have really have liked to have my rear locker. Man, these differentials are heavy. So much. It's weird because it's like, for how small they are, you wouldn't think that they're super heavy, but they're heavy. Well, we have success. So the place that I am suspicious about leaking is right here, where the air line passes from the outside to the inside. But I don't know, I was kind of playing around with it a little bit. Got some compressed air here, and if I push real hard right there, I've got some decent air bubbles popping through. Yeah. So what that is telling me is that's my rotational seals. There's 2 O-rings in here, and they've gone bad. So fun part is, I bought an extra set of these seals a long time ago. And do you think I know where they are? No. I don't know where they are. So I'm going to have to do some digging around for those seals. And then also, if not, I've got a local bearing and O-ring and seal guy here in town, and he usually has a lot of stuff in stock because we have the oil field and a lot of farming around here. And that tends to have some unique stuff. So we'll get it pulled apart, and then I will see if I can't hunt down some seals. If not, I'm going to have to order them. Try to get him here as quickly as possible if I have to go that route. So anyways, I'll dive into this and see what we can do. We might have success. I was able to source some O-rings locally, which is a very good thing. Got it installed. So I double checked this guy back in here. I did notice that this steel hose was a little too long, and I don't think it was quite sealing up 100% right there, so I fixed that problem. This guy right here is threaded through the housing, so I resealed that up, tightened everything up, and let's see if we get any air bubbles. Cross our fingers here that we don't. Oh. Just a tiny little bit. And you know what? I'm going to call that successful. Because I don't think that the ARB relies 100% on the O-rings sealing it up. I think the viscosity of the oil also helps with the keeping the air out. And you know, if a little air passes by, as long as the locker is fully engaging, I don't see that being an issue, which it just wasn't engaging for me. So I had a massive leak. So I think I am good to go. $3 later, and bam, I've got a working air locker. Well, I'm going to clean up the surface on right here on the differential. I got to do the same on the axle, and then we'll throw this guy back in and get the truck buttoned all put back together. And then it's on to the front wheel bearings. Just checking those. Oh, and I just realized I forgot to cross something off the list. And we're almost right here.
Reassembling the rear axle went together very smoothly. Now for the front wheel bearings, I just wanted to see if any wheel bearings were loose, because I've put a lot of miles on them with that trip going down to California and other trips since then. And I noticed that the passenger side wheel bearings had a little bit of slop in them. So I went ahead and removed the hub so I could tighten up the wheel bearings just a little bit. When I was checking for movement for the wheel bearings, I also noticed that the idler arm had some movement in it as well. So I decided to tighten it up, and from factory, they just used a Teflon lock nut, and I didn't really care for that, so I added some Loctite just to help reinsure the nut from backing off.
Well, we have done it. We have gone through the checklist. Boom, right there. Awesome. Oh, I tell you what, it's always great when you can go through a checklist and get some things done. It really is a nice feeling. Well, thanks for joining me in the garage. I know it was a little bit different of a video, but honestly, sometimes it's nice to just hang out with my friends and just chill in the garage, you know? Just turn wrenches, talk, BS, hang out, see what we can break, see what we can fix, you know, that kind of thing. So I do appreciate it, guys and gals, for hanging out with me in the garage and working on Bandit. Oh, excuse me. That caught up on me. And it's really nice that we got some of these things checked off the list. And the biggest thing that I was really worried about was those rod bearings, and I think we're good. I think I was able to save the bottom end of that engine, which is fantastic. And that's why I decided to start on that project first, because if the engine's bad, then it's kind of pointless to do the rest of the work on the truck. But I think we're good to go. There's something about putting in a whole bunch of work on your vehicle, and then you finally get it done, and it's time to take it out and test everything that you just did on your vehicle. So far, Bandit is running better than ever. Man, the engine just sounds so smooth. No more weird clattering noises. And on the way out, I noticed that the suspension, or sorry, not the suspension, but the steering was nice and tight again, which is just absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'm loving it. So we're going to drive around and do a little bit of testing, make sure that everything is working just fine. I've got a nice little area that it's kind of my go-to where I like to test everything out. And let's just see how it goes. One of the things that we fixed was the rear air locker. It was leaking pretty good on us, to the point where it wouldn't even run, or sorry, it wouldn't even activate. So I found a nice spot right here that I call it my mini Moab. And I'm in two-wheel drive, low range, tires are aired up. I didn't let any air out or anything, and we're gonna test the air locker, see if it works. Okay, so got the air compressor going right now. It's charging up the system. All right, so now I think what I'll do is I'll slowly creep up to my little ledge here, and I don't have the locker engaged right now. Okay, here we go. No go, just a spin out. All right, I'm gonna activate the rear locker. Ooh, I don't hear any air leaking. All right, now let's see if we can climb this. All right, coming up to the ledge. Here we go. Oh. Woo! I'm up. All right. I think I got a tire off the ground, actually. Let's see if I can keep climbing up this. Ooh. Okay, now the front end's gonna come up. Woo! Oh. I need lower gears. I made it in two-wheel drive. So that is an absolute success. Okay, I'm going to disengage the rear locker. Let's listen for that, you know, that sound, that pew. Ah, yes. Yes, yes. I got my rear locker again. Yay. That's fantastic. All right, so rod bearings done. In bottom end sounds beautiful. Oil pressure is way better, way more comfortable with that. Adjusted our valves, perfect. We were able to tighten up the front wheel bearings and the steering, perfect. Just tested out the rear locker, perfect. We hit it. We hit it, guys. We got everything on our list and everything is working great. So let's head up to my secret spot and let's talk about the question that I have in there, or that I threw in the video. Is it worth it overlanding an older vehicle? Boy, I absolutely love this spot. And sorry guys, this one's all for me. Well, let's talk about that subject, that question. Is it worth overlanding older vehicles? And you can kind of go a couple of ways about this. Me personally, I say yes. Now, I like how with the older vehicles, you feel more connected to the adventure. You feel more of the gravel underneath the tires, the potholes in the road. You feel more of the adventure, and I like that. I know some people, they don't. They want, if they're doing long distances, they want a smooth ride. They don't want to feel anything. That way they don't get wore out. Well, I used to ride motorcycle, and I don't. And I thought, well, I remember some of my most connected adventures was riding motorcycle. So when I adventure in older vehicles, that's kind of how I feel. Except for I'm not exposed to the weather the whole time. But I feel like overlanding in older vehicles, you're just more connected to the adventure. Now, as far as the expenses of an older vehicle, well, you kind of got to look at it in a few different ways. For me, I'm mechanically inclined, so when I go to work on a vehicle, my expenses are just whatever parts and supplies that I need to take care of the job. For those who are not mechanically inclined and you got to hire a shop, it is going to be a lot more expensive. Now, for the work that we just did on Bandit, with the oil and the seals and the bearings and all that stuff, I think I've got about $100 into it. That's it. Not much. So, yeah, it is a lot more cost effective to keep an older vehicle going. I have no car payments. It only cost me $100 to do all the work that I just did on Bandit. That's awesome. But let's say you got to take it into a shop to do all the work that I just did on Bandit. Might cost you like $3,000–$4,000. That may seem kind of like a lot, but also look at it this way too. You've got a vehicle that's paid off, no car payments, right? And I'm just assuming here, since it's an older vehicle. Let's say I just bought Bandit and I spent like $4,500 and then I built it up, right? With those expenses that you pay for a shop to do the work on your vehicle, plus what you paid for the vehicle, it's still cheaper than a brand new vehicle, guys. I know with a brand new vehicle, you get your luxury stuff and things are brand new and da-da-da-da. Well, that window is only going to be for so long. And after a while, that window is going to disappear. And let's say that's around 200,000 miles. Could be 250. Could be 175. Things are going to have to be replaced. So, yeah, you've got a longer window of not having to do anything other than simple maintenance, you know, oil changes and filters and things like that. But in the long run, you're saving yourself a whole bunch of money with going with the used stuff versus a brand new. But that's just my opinion, guys. I think it's worth keeping an older vehicle going. I really do. Parts are cheaper for the older vehicles, depending on what you get. Normally, like with the older stuff, the market's already saturated with aftermarket stuff. If you're an OEM person, yes, parts can get a lot harder to find. But if you're okay with aftermarket, there's tons of stuff out there. And it's cheaper than if it was brand new. So that's just my thoughts, guys. And you may disagree with it, but that's okay. Overlanding in new vehicles definitely does have its benefits. I will definitely say that. And honestly, I was really debating about selling all of DB Overland's vehicles and investing in a Lexus GX 550. I was thinking about doing that, and it was really close. It was really close of me pulling the trigger on that, and I decided that no, I feel like I touch more of you guys that we can't afford really nice rigs like that. This is what we've got. This is what we've got to work with. And so I want to be right there with you guys and show you that we can have an amazing vehicle down to Death Valley, anywhere in the US, maybe anywhere in the world with an old beater. and I'm going to be right there with you guys. So, speaking of around the world, I think it's time to sit down and kind of talk about what direction I want to go with Bandit. And I'm so excited to talk to you guys about this. So thanks for joining me, guys, in the garage. It was great having you hang out with me. It gets lonely in the garage, so I appreciate your company. Well, until next time, we'll see you guys out on the trail.